powers in Class A meet tonight with district victory on the line. It's game time on YurView. The Iowa Western game of the week is Millard North against Creighton Prep. Hi everybody, alongside John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Tonight from Burke High, it is a district matchup between Omaha Creighton Prep and Millard North. John, Creighton Prep, we saw the opening week, an exciting victory. They're 2-1, ranked in the top 10. Millard North finally got their first victory last week. Not ranked, but a chance to make some noise tonight.
Well, that's right, Gary. And their defensive performances in those first 2 weeks, the 2 games that they lost, not very good by any metric. They got ran all over 2 weeks in a row. Kind of got right a little bit last week. We'll see what those adjustments, if they pay off here tonight.
Talk about running the football. What a week last week for Cade Elwood, the starting quarterback for Millard North. He tied a Class A record with 7 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, just a breakout performer. Got the offense going. They've been, Noah Mick kind of in and out of the lineup, haven't had a consistent rotation at fullback. But Cade Elwood got things going a week ago. He needs to get it going tonight.
Lots of rushing yards for Millard North. That's to be expected. Something that is not expected, we will not see the top running back from Creighton Prep. Megan Scolio will have more on that in just a moment, but they do have Luke Sims in the backfield for Creighton Prep.
Yeah, the big bruiser. We saw him in week 1 against Westside, 3 rushing touchdowns in that one. He's just a terror, hard to bring down, tough runner. Gonna need him in this one.
Should be a good one tonight. You win tonight, and you're pretty much on the road to the playoffs. Millard North, Creighton Prep. We've got more from Burke High. After this, it's game time on YurView.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
It's game time on YurView. Tonight, the Iowa Western game of the week is Millard North and Creighton Prep. As we alluded to in the open, John, Creighton Prep, the first night we saw them, Elijah Burtz lit up the scoreboard. Well, he will be on the sidelines tonight. The top running back for the Junior Jays is out of the lineup due to injury. What does that do for Creighton Prep's attack? With more on that, here is the third member of our crew, Megan Scolio. Megan?
Guys, you'll notice a key piece of Creighton Prep's offense is missing tonight. Senior running back Elijah Burtz will not be playing. He was injured early in their game last week against Fremont. Burtz is currently their leading rusher, averaging about 100 yards per contest. Filling in tonight is junior Jackson Bartling, who tallied 108 yards and a touchdown last week in their win over the Tigers. Coach Young said Burtz should be back in the lineup next week for their game against Papillion La Vista.
Thanks, Megan. Should be patrolling the sidelines all night long. We've got the keys to the game and kickoff next. It's game time on YurView, the Iowa Western game of the week. Millard North and Creighton Prep.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
You're watching this week's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western game of the week. It is game time on YurView. The Iowa Western Game of the Week is a District 3 matchup. Millard North and Creighton Prep. Both teams won last week in their district opener, and you win tonight. You're 2-0, John, as we touched on in the open. You're pretty much can plan to be playing at the end of October, but both of these teams want to pick up some momentum. Millard North coming off their first victory of the year. Creighton Prep bouncing back from a loss to #1 Burke last week. Let's take a look at some of the keys for tonight's game as the Mustangs and the Junior Jays meet. In Millard North, it starts up front.
It really does, Gary. First down, so big for this Millard North offense. They're going to keep the ball on the ground. Fred Petito's done it this way forever. The last time we saw them, it seemed like they were off schedule, getting behind the chains too often. They've got to get good gains on first downs to keep on schedule. And second, dial up the pressure. Starting a sophomore quarterback tonight, Creighton Prep is. So put the pressure on him. Make him prove it. Make him hurry some of his throws and maybe make one of those sophomore mistakes that you can take advantage of.
Millard North has given up over 40 points a game in the first 3 weeks of the season. As you get a look at the Hall of Fame coach, Fred Petito, 34 years as the head man of the Mustangs. Young team, they dress 17 sophomores. 4 of them start on the defense, 11 non-seniors. For Creighton Prep, we saw them in week #1. Not much has changed.
Well, and tonight it's next man up. You know, Elijah Burtz is out, but you've got to fill the void. It might be a couple of guys that have to pick up the slack there, but it can't be a complete void when he's out of the game. And discipline on defense. The key to defending the option is reading your keys and making your play. Don't be a hero. Make the right play, not the big play.
Thomas Kopcho will kick off for Millard North. The Mustangs won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so Creighton Prep will receive the Junior Jays. The Swag and the Surf, 2-1. Millard North 1-2. These two teams met twice last year. Millard North won the regular season game, and Creighton Prep won in the postseason. Short kickoff, and it's returnable for Harold of Creighton Prep, and he's got a lane to the outside, up near the 40, crossing the 40, is where the Junior Jays will start with Reed Burke, the sophomore quarterback who will make the start once again. The first game of the season, you saw Sam Bonebreak drive Creighton Prep all the way down the field in the closing minutes for the game-winning touchdown. He has split time the last couple of weeks, and now the sophomore, Reed Burke, gets the start. Sam Bonebreak has been bothered by illness all week, so we're not sure if we will see him. But Reed, last week, 12 of 18 throwing the football. As they'll start from the 39-yard line on a beautiful night for football. Temperatures into the 90s today in Omaha. Kickoff temperature in the mid-80s, and jumping into the neutral zone right away is Millard North, and that'll be the first penalty of the game, and that'll give us the opportunity to introduce you to our referee, newly wearing the white hat, Ken Holm.
Give us our first call, an encroachment on the defense, and that is, those first down penalties are big. I mean, make it 1st and 5 instead of 1st and 10. Makes picking up the first down pretty easy.
Both of these teams have been plagued by slow starts. This is week #4 of the high school season. Creighton Prep especially have had slow first halves. And here's Jackson Bartling. Maybe a yard before running into the heart of that Millard North defense. The tackle led by Noah Mick. We'll mention his name a lot tonight, especially on the defensive side of the football. Reed Burke, Jackson Bartling, and who we profiled with 6 touchdowns already this year, Luke Sims in the backfield.
Yeah. Luke Sims, you're going to figure he'll touch the ball quite a bit on short yardage and around the goal line, but they'll give him some carries between the 20s as well.
After the pickup of 1 for Bartling, remember, no birds tonight. Burke goes to the air, and he completes the pass out near midfield to Corpus. And it could be a first down, as Reed Burke will be going up against this defense. Again, a defense that has given up an average of 40 points a game in the first 3 weeks, John.
And despite what our lineup says, Noah Mick is playing on defense tonight. He's out there. He made that first tackle on Bartling on the first play from scrimmage. So one to watch. See if Noah Mick can make some big defensive plays.
Keep an eye on Cam Weimers. He has been their best defensive player the last couple of weeks. Inside handoff to the burly fullback Sims on the first down carry, and he lumbers to the 45. Luke Sims has already got 6 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks. Remember, no Elijah Burtz, 326 yards rushing in the first 3 weeks of the season, as Sims ran into Mick and he ran into Weimers. Boy, those trio will get to know each other pretty well, but We talked with Tim Young, the first-year head coach of Prep, on the field before the game. Not much of a drop-off with Jackson Bartlett. And again, we don't wish it on our worst enemy, trying to tackle Luke Sims, and there he runs right into Ben King for another big pickup for the fullback, who is 6'1", 240, and only a junior.
Well, I mean, he looks like he's about a redshirt junior in college playing linebacker.
And he's playing for a head coach who was a fullback at Nebraska. From 89 to 91, he lettered, playing for Tom Osborne. Native of Skyland. After 11 years in a state championship at Omaha Gross, he's in his first year at Prep, and he says, let's go back to the big fullback. And Luke Sims rumbles down close to the 35-yard line. And we expect a lot of tonight's game to be via the ground.
Well, and I just had a feeling with Elijah Burt's out, we didn't have any inside information or anything, but it just felt like against a team like Millard North, who struggled to defend the run, your top running back is out. I felt like we were going to get a heavy dose of Luke Sims, and so far that's been the case.
Sims, 28 carries, 216 yards, and those 6 touchdowns coming in. Burke will hand it off to Bartling, and he spins away, and he cuts to the outside, and he's dragged down inside of the 20 as a touchdown-saving tackle from Spencer Weber. And Jackson Bartling, a good jump cut to get the extra yardage and get into the red zone for the Junior Jays.
And a little different kind of back than Elijah Burt's. Elijah Burt's is a little more straight line. He's got some good shake, but Bartling is something different. You see the way he can cut and move laterally off that plant foot. Just some special moves inside there from the young running back.
Youngins indeed, John. This quarterback is a sophomore. Sims and Bartling are juniors. And here is Bartling again, trying to read his block. He'll be tied up after a pickup of about 3 yards. We'll see if this Millard North defense, which this year, and it's a young defense, they gave up a lot of yards on the ground in an opening week loss to Omaha North. Allowed 558 yards when we saw him last time against Millard West. Last week shorted up a bit, controlled the game, had 32 minutes of possession in a 62-35 win over Papillion La Vista. But the possession in the opening part as Burke finds Sims, and he finds the end zone.
He's just too strong. I mean, he's covered by one of the better players in the Metro on this play is Luke Sims. And he just puts out a stiff arm. Look here, it's Noah Mick. He stiff arms him right in the face and drags him into the end zone. What are you gonna do with a fullback that size?
So Sims, with those 6 touchdowns on the ground, give him 1 receiving on the 16-yard pitch and catch from Burke. And it is 6-0 in favor of the Junior Jays, who again have been plagued by slow starts. They had a score 32 in that second half on opening week against Westside. Struggled in the opening half against Burke. Not tonight. The PAT is up, and it is good. And what an opening drive for Creighton Prep. They take it from their own 39, methodically march down the field, and they put it in the end zone via the pass, and it is 7-0 Junior Jays. Josh Ward from WNML in Knoxville breaks down the Tennessee-Florida recruiting rivalry. YurView analyst, former Dallas Cowboy and SMU Mustang, Dale Hallistrate, previews the featured game of the week, plus his thoughts on how Arizona and Arizona State have struggled with local recruiting. Dale recounts his memories of being recruited back in the SMU Pony Express days. And Matt Mueller, COO of Huddle, discusses the impact Huddle has had on college football and the recruiting process. You don't want to miss it. It is the recruiting podcast hosted by Jeremy Crabtree. Over the middle, it is well worth your listen, especially as many of our viewers get into recruiting. Players on both of these teams being recruited all the way from FBS to FCS, Division II, Division III, NAIA, and Luke Sims will draw the attention of colleges, especially with the hands he showed on that pass from Burke. And it's 7-0 Prep, and Millard North with a chance to answer, as the kickoff will be returned. Lasoli picks it up at the 10. And after a return of 12, he is brought down by Charlie Harold. And we will get a look at Cade Elwood, who last week in Millard North's first victory of the season 62-35 over Papillion La Vista. He ran for 229 yards and tied a Class A record with 7 touchdowns rushing. All part of that triple option that the quarterback is so key with the read.
Tim Young from Creighton Prep told us they were going to try to put 8 in the box against this option attack. We'll see exactly what that means, how Prep attacks this run-heavy offense.
As the first carry is by Noah Mick, who is back, did not play 2 weeks ago due to an ankle injury. Didn't carry the ball last week, but he is in the backfield, and that will help because Spencer Weber, in Mick's absence, John, has really shown that he can handle the load that you have to as a running back in this offense.
Well, Elwood, Mick, and Weber, those 3 in the backfield, that is the 3-headed monster for Millard North. Got to keep an eye on all of them.
Mick, who runs a 4.55 40. 36-inch vertical jump. The pass into the flat to Lasole, and he is off to the races. Quickly into Junior J territory.
Well, I'd like to get a good look at this one because Lasole dropped the pass, but I want to see if it was a lateral, and it was. It was a lateral pass, so good awareness by Lasole to pick it up, skirt through that hole to the outside, and nice gain. Picks up the first down, keeps the drive alive.
Last week, in the 62-point outing for Millard North, they attempted 1 pass. Their 1 pass here is the biggest gain of the night. Gets him down to the 46-yard line into Junior J territory. And here's Mick again, following his blocks over the right side of the line. And he lumbers for 5 yards. Creighton Prep has had some changes, especially at linebacker on that defense.
Yeah, they've moved some guys around. You have Steven Krawcheck, who was the weak side linebacker, has moved over to the Sam linebacker. Nathaniel Wells, who had been the starter there, and John Bullock, who had been the backup middle linebacker, now starting at the will.
Morgan Madrigal, talented defensive back. Elwood, first carry of the night. And on the keeper, he'll get about 4 yards. That is the 75th time that Elwood has run the football, and we are in week number 4. Veteran starter last year, 1,200-yard rusher. Boy, Fred Petito excited to have Mick and Elwood back. Those are 2,000-yard rushers from last year.
One thing to keep an eye on tonight is on the defensive side for Prep, Luke Sims plays that nose position. He's going to get a workout, heavy workload against this running game. See if that affects him later on in his legs in the running attack for his offense.
Elwood on 3rd down and 1 just follows Jack Holtz and falls for a first down to the 33-yard line. As Millard North trying to answer Prep, who took the opening kickoff, marched down the field. Reed Burke to Luke Sims from 16 yards out. Millard North last year 9-2, knocked out of the playoffs by Creighton Prep. They were knocked out in the semifinals by eventual Class A champion Bellevue West. Week 4, this is a district game. Elwood to put it up again. Now looking deep down the sidelines, and it is just out of the reach of the intended wide receiver. Out there was Chris Cavazos.
Well, you said it last week. Mustangs threw the ball 1 time in the game. Already a couple of passes on this opening possession, trying to test those Prep corners on the outside and see what's there.
Get that defense off the field as well. They controlled the ball last week. So 2nd down and 10 here in the first quarter. And Elwood keeps it again on the read and maneuvers his way for extra yardage. And that will be a first down. Great awareness by Cade Elwood. Senior quarterback, 6 foot, 185 pounds. 2nd year as a full-time starter.
Well, middle linebacker just gets sucked inside. You see it right there. And then the safety has to come down into the box and clean things up.
Joe Carew came in. And the initial hit on Elwood as he continues the drive with a new set of downs. The toss to Lasole running right with blocking downfield, but a good job of breaking up the block. Noel was out there with the block, but a good job to come off the block and make the tackle for Creighton Prep was Steven Krawcheck, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, great job by Krawcheck. I talk about this all the time. The outside linebacker on those toss plays, keeping that outside arm free, keeping leverage on the inside. And keeping that outside arm free, so important, and Krawcheck did it perfectly right there.
There's a loss of 1. So second down in the 11. Elwood hands it off to Mick, and Mick had a little bit of a burst. Some room over the right side, stepped through it, and that is a pickup of 10, so to bring up third down and short again.
Pancake block by Dittman on the inside. You're going to see Luke Sims ends up on his back. Dittman plants him in the turf and opens that hole for no Mick.
Mentioned last year when Mick wasn't in the lineup, wasn't good for Millard North. They didn't play well. Now that he's back, last week more on defense than offense. They're playing well, and Elwood keeps it again, and then took a big hit. He'll be shuffled out of bounds. He ran smack dab into Drew Dunham, a multi-sport athlete for Creighton Prep. Now
another good block on the edge. Last time it was Nick Morrison, but boy, big hit coming in there from Dunham and Marcus Vaughn Jones.
Elwood, definitely a leader on this team, and you've got to be strong to absorb the hits you do as a quarterback. Hand off to Mick, and it's just pounding the right side right now for Millard North on this drive that is inside of the 10-yard line. And a quickly paced first quarter, 7-0 Prep. This is the first possession for Millard North. It started at their own 22, and now they will snap the ball on second down and goal from the 7.
Mick seeing a lot of the ball on this first drive, so any troubles that he's had with his ankle early going here, looks like they've cleared up, and Fred Petito confident in using him heavily both sides of the ball.
Little buzz in the offseason for Millard North, not in the top 10. They can chase a spot with a victory here tonight, and Mick held up. Tried to run it right up the middle. John Bullock was there to corral Mick, and now it'll be third down and goal. He's setting up for some play action.
Yeah, you could be setting up for anything with Fred Petito on the sideline. We've seen it firsthand. You just never know what he's going to break out from that playbook he's got.
And even though they only threw the ball once last week, as Fred has gotten a little bit older, he has thrown the ball. Everybody thought they didn't know about the forward pass at Millard North. They know about the quarterback keeper, and they know about a touchdown. And Cade Elwood with 7 last week's got the first touchdown for the Mustangs tonight. On third down and goal, he punches it in from 4 out.
It's about the 4th time we've seen the play on this drive where he just reads the defensive tackle. Tackle's in the hole, he keeps it, comes right off the fullback's hip. Crease opens up, and Elwood into the end zone.
So Millard North answers Creighton Prep as Elwood scores again. His mentor, Ethan Morrison, former Mustang quarterback, would be happy as well.
Point is good by
We are
Thomas
tied at
Copjo.
7 as both teams get the
3:08 left in the first quarter.
possession, and they
His
put it
score
in
is
the
tied
end
at
zone.
7.
We might have to buckle up for a night like this. It's game time on YurView. The Iowa Western Game of the Week, knotted at 7. Millard North and Creighton.
I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
It's a doubleheader of football this week tonight here at Burke High, which is the home field for Creighton Prep. 7-7 our score. Tomorrow, join us for a Class B showdown, Elkhorn and Omaha Skutt. From Elkhorn, Skyhawks and the Antlers. 7-7. Kevin Cooper is back deep for the Junior Jays. Week number 4 of the season. kind of seen in Class A. It's a little top heavy. Burke North, Bellevue West, Millard West. Good matchup tonight. Millard West and Bellevue West. We'll keep you updated on. This is one of 2 Class A games, only 4 games statewide. Short Kick and Harold with the return. Had a good return to start the game, this time out to the 30-yard line. We will see Bellevue West against Omaha Burke to finish up the regular season. Right now, Burke is 1. Bellevue West, whatever poll you prefer, 2 or 3. 7-7 our score. Not a lot of defense on either side of that opening drive. And this drive will start at the 31-yard line. The sophomore quarterback Reed Burke is out. No Elijah Burtz tonight. Leading rusher for the Junior Jays. Should be back next week for another district game against Papillion La Vista. Armstead in motion. Handoff to Bartley. And with a dipsy doing a spin. He's got a first down carry.
He is a little jitterbug. You have to square him up, set your feet, and be ready because he will pull this. Look at that. Wham! Nice little spin move from Bartling. And the train keeps rolling for Prep.
108 yards last week, filling in for Burtz. 17 for 142 coming into the game. And on this carry to start the second drive for the Junior Jays, it's a first down. Hand off to the up man, and this is good yardage. Tyler White-Welchin is across midfield. Last year, had a touchdown, 149 yards. Haven't seen much of him this year. But just with a quick hitter, bounced off a blocker and pinballed his way before he was brought down by Ben King. So Creighton Prep doing what 3 teams have done to Millard North so far this year and pounded on the ground for big yardage. White-Welchin, again a good carry, this time for 4.
Boy, I mean, when it's that easy on the ground, it's going to be hard to go away from it, right? I mean, they're just chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. Now you're in a 2nd and 5 situation. You can do about anything from right here.
Been a pretty prolific offense in the first 3 weeks for Creighton Prep. They scored 45 against Westside, 41 against previously unbeaten Fremont last week. The handoff to Bartling. And he is about 5-6 yards downfield before he is even getting touched, as that left side of the offensive line is just blowing up holes for Creighton Prep. And that is a big offensive line, and it is a young offensive line. From guard, center guard, that's 3 juniors, led by Brandon Benham, who seems like he's been at Creighton Prep forever.
He and Will Karenzer, as you said, are just mashing on that defensive line over there on that left side.
I apologize, Brandon is his older brother. Bad snap. This is Ryan on the offensive line. Burke tracks down the bad snap out near midfield.
Reed Burke covers the errant snap.
Well, that hurts because you've been running the ball so well, and now you put yourself in bad down and distance after an errant snap, and that one's all on the center. There's not a lot that Reed Burke can do about that one. Just got to clean that up, and now you're in a situation where you probably have to throw the ball a couple of times here to pick up a first down.
Second down and 21. 7-7 our score. We're under a minute to go in the first quarter. Burke with a running back to his right, tosses it to Bartling. He got slowed up. A good job and an open field tackle by Weber. Weber got a hand onto the ankle of Bartling, tripped him up, or that would have been a big gain. And now it is 3rd down and long. And we'll see if Tim Yonk elects to let the first quarter clock run out, or if he will snap it. Warm evening for football, week number 4. Five seconds to go. Burke checks the scoreboard behind him. Snap back to him, and he'll put it up on 3rd and long. Pump fake now to the near sideline. Caught by Armstead, way short of the first down before Jadis Ellis brings him down, and that is the end of the first quarter. In a district matchup, tied at 7. Game time on YurView.
Charles Drew selected Cox Business because in the healthcare arena, it is imperative that we have transfer of data that is reliable, flexible, and fast. On average, Charles Drew Health Center has about 33,000 phone calls a month. With IP-Centrics, the system was very intuitive, and it allowed us to be reactionary to the needs of our patients. Cox Business Solutions has allowed us to be more efficient and effective in meeting the needs of the greater Omaha community. Cox Business is a great partner.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
7-7 as we start the second quarter. One of the best student bodies in the state, Creighton Prep. Junior J Army is out in full force. And apologies to their parents and what their shower will look like later tonight or tomorrow morning. First punt of the night, and it will bounce into the end zone as we get started here in the second quarter. This is one of two Class A games going on tonight. Millard West and Bellevue West, a matchup of two top four teams. And Giovanni Guido with a touchdown pass late in the first quarter. Millard West leads Bellevue West 7-0.
How about that?
As Bellevue West with their winning streak, which currently is at 16 games. And our second opportunity, look at the Millard North offense. After Creighton Prep took the opening kickoff and put it in the end zone, Millard North drove right down the field, and Cade Elwood scored his 8th touchdown in the last 5 quarters of football. And he's back under center with Noah Mick directly behind him. And Mick will take the chest-high handoff and gets about 4 yards.
Well, this is shaping up to be one of those games where you might only get 6 or 7 possessions on the night. So offensive efficiency is going to be big. And you know, a fortunate turn of events for Millard North is it looked like they were showing no signs of slowing down that Prep offense, and the bad snap puts the down and distance a little bit out of reach. And now Millard North with a chance to take the lead here. But you have to be efficient with your possessions in a game like this.
Elwood out of the backfield, but before the snap, Mick might have been in motion. And that is the call. So the second penalty of the night is to the Mustangs. Mick last year averaged 9.8 yards per carry. Talked about his speed and his jumping ability. Can bench press over 300 pounds. Had a good spring when he went to the rivals camp. Drew a lot of attention. The likes of Navy, Nebraska, North Dakota State, other FCS schools are very interested in Noah Mick. Both sides of the football. He's close to an all-stater. He carries the, or Elwood keeps it. Pulled it out of Mick and got 2 yards.
Well, for Prep on defense, they got worked the last time out. Just ball run right down their throat for the most part. Now to come out and need a good response here. Need to shore up that run defense. Now you got a 3rd and long situation. This is the situation we talked about as one of the keys where Millard North didn't want to be in. You got to get your defense off the field here for Prep.
Two of the perennial powers in Class A. Creighton Prep with 9 state titles, but it's been 12 years since they won one. Millard North won a state title in 2015, and Mick is going nowhere. And another fine tackle, John Bullock is having a heck of a first half.
Well, this play was made by the backside defensive end, Tom Searle, who comes all the way across the field to drag Noah Mick down from behind. Just a really nice play. Look at Searle, he gets sucked inside and then comes from behind. Pulls the fullback to the ground. Good job getting off a block.
So after both teams scored on their opening drive, back-to-back punts, Thomas Kopcho is in to punt for the Mustangs. The Junior J defense forces a 3 and out. Charlie Harold is back deep for the Junior Jays. Prep rushing 7, low snap. Kopcho picks it up, punts it into the Thursday night sky, and they will mark it as it goes out of bounds at the 49-yard line. So Creighton Prep, who was forced to punt their last time out. Reed Burke in for his 3rd series of the night. Creighton Prep now 2-1 on the season. Again, this is a district game. This is District 3. A loss here in the 2nd game of the season against Burke. As these two teams, Burke and Prep, share this stadium on the Burke High campus. The thriller that you saw opening night last week, a bounce back for Prep. Next week, Papillion La Vista, then Papio South. They finish with Benson and then Kearney, which is unbeaten. And they are in this district as well.
Yeah, that trip out to Kearney is going to be a tough one. As we've said, about a 3-hour bus ride. The legs get a little stiff, and you got to get out there and get warmed up and play a tough Bearcat team. And then, depending on what happens, it might be a long 3-hour ride back home.
Not many people can take down Luke Sims by themselves, except for Brian LaPierre, 6'1", 240-pound junior defensive tackle, who stops Sims for a loss of 2 here in the 2nd quarter, tied at 7. Play action, pass, caught, first down. Great execution by Burke, and it was on the money, right at the belt buckle, and Armstead, with a defensive back draped all over him, made the catch ahead of Ellis for a first down.
Well, the sophomore's got a cannon, doesn't he? Look at this throw. Just rock and fire, young man. Right into the belly of Armstead, who was the week 1 hero, made that big catch in the back of the end zone at West Side, but whew, what a throw.
It's work in progress, as Tim Yonk likes to call his team. That's progress. That's a first down. Burke keeps it, and as he's brought down, a flag follows.
Be interested to see what this one actually is. It came in late. It's in the area where you might think it's holding.
Ken Holm looking to the Millard North sideline, and Fred Petito says, yeah, we'll push him back. There is Fred Petito. 5 state titles. 2003, 2005, 2010, 2012, 2015. 44 career playoff victories. Top 10 all time. And who's at the top of that list? Legendary coach for Creighton Prep for 39 years, Tom Jaworski. As you get a look at this penalty that'll push Prep back.
That's the completion to Armstead. Again, I'll take a look at that throw over and over again.
Burke will put it up. And this time, for a minimal gain of 4 yards.
Complete to Drew Dunham.
Drew Dunham, who outfielder on the state championship Creighton Prep baseball team. For the 2nd straight spring, they won the state title. They were a runner-up in the American Legion World Series in North Carolina last month. So while practice had started, Dunham was playing to win a championship. Bartling on the handoff. Again, not much. With a push from an offensive lineman, he's able to pick up a couple of extra yards, and now it'll be 3rd down and long.
Well, there was a tremendous block. And it didn't come from one of the offensive linemen, but it came from Luke Sims. He absolutely stonewalled the defender coming through and allowed Bartling to cut off his backside and make what little yardage he did. But holy cow, it was a heck of a collision in the backfield.
3rd down and 8. Corpus in motion. Burke will roll out to his right, looking downfield, steps, throws. It is caught by the big tight end, Mathis. And that is a pickup of 10, and that's a first down. And Burke again with a fastball that Pat Mooney, the head baseball coach at Prep, would be proud of.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his arm strength so far. Just a little short roll out to his right, rolling to the strong arm, and look at that. Delivered on a line between 2 defenders. Mathis with a nice snag in there, but Another nice throw from the youngster.
One of the top tight ends in the state, Cam Jurgens of Beatrice, who is verbally committed to Nebraska. You would put him and Mathis together, and here's Sims. And he sidesteps a tackle here or there and finds himself home at the 16-yard line.
Well, that Millard North run defense had shored itself up a little bit, and then a couple of nice throws from Burke has softened it up again. And there you see the big fella Sims finding a little room. Good balance being shown by this Prep offense.
Some would describe Sims as burly. Well, we would call him burly athletic. He's got a touchdown reception, and now a big gain here, and Burke will put it back up out of the backfield. Bartling's got lots of room. One-on-one, cut to the outside, inside of the pylon. It is touchdown.
Boy, that's tough. If you got to make a one-on-one open field tackle against Jackson Bartling, you have your work cut out for you. You saw it right there. He didn't even have to do too much. He's just so wiggly. Just gives a little inside look and then back to the outside, and the acrobatic finish gets him the touchdown.
2 touchdown passes now for Burke. This one from 17 yards out. Nothing that Weimers could do one-on-one with Bartling. Prep with a plethora of skill position players. And the PAT off the right foot of Starko is up and good. And Prep is back on top after a 17-yard touchdown pass from Burke to Bartley.
At DiVentures, we want to create a full-service customer experience. Cox Business, as our technology partner, does exactly that. The team at Cox Business came in, took a look at our business, and recommended top-notch solutions. With IP-Centrics, we have a managed, scalable solution to meet all of our customer needs. We get hundreds of phone calls a day, thousands over the course of a week. Because we have Cox Business, we can focus on what we love to do, being on the water and in the water.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Burke Stadium, the home of the Iowa Western game of the night. So we'll have more football for you tomorrow in Class B between Scott and Elkhorn. Iowa Western offering more than 100 programs of study. More information on everything that Iowa Western offers, iwcc.edu. Jackson Bartling is offering a lot with the absence of Elijah Burtz tonight, John.
Yeah, he sure is. And he's done it catching the ball. He's done it running between the tackles. He's done it running outside. Not much of a drop-off so far with the alternate running back in there.
Yeah, that big smile. His classmates coming over to give him some dap. He's got to go back to work. Stracco with the kickoff. Another kickoff that could be returned. And at about the 27-yard line, we're going to look at Cade Elwood, who scored a touchdown of his own from 4 yards out. But last time Millard North had the ball, they had to punt. They were forced into a 3-and-out. Burke Stadium, where we are tonight, this is the home of the Nebraska State Track and Field Championships in May. They draw about 27,000 for the two-day event. Stadium opened up in 1967. They play on field turf. They have a fundraising campaign going on for a lot of improvements to this facility. Elwood keeps it, and he's not going anywhere. Jack Haas with a good tackle from behind.
So after that first offensive possession, now third time with the ball for this Millard North offense, and the first time they were able to just sort of march it down the field very methodically. Their last possession, they got behind the chains because of a penalty. And now first play on this third drive, not much doing, as Haas was not fooled and stayed with the quarterback.
Elwood adjusts his lineman. 2nd down and 9. And the toss to Lasole running the outside. Blockers down the field and mating off the block. Morgan Madrigal.
Yeah, Madrigal, a player that Tim Young said is an all-state caliber athlete and somebody that we would hear about a lot this year. And that was a pretty fantastic play to go on and take on the blocker and run down the speedy Lasole before he could get to the edge. Nice play.
Lasole is going to be used a lot more moving forward, according to Fred Petito. Now Elwood faces a 3rd down and 8. They went 3 and out last time. Elwood will put it up, and pass is incomplete. Just off of the fingertips on the slant route. Cavazos couldn't haul it in. That would have been a 1st down, and so back-to-back 3 and outs.
Yeah, Elwood just leaves this one out in front a little too far. Cavazos can't quite get there. Off the fingertips. He kind of put it where it needed to be. There was he had a man underneath and a little zone coverage over top, so he had to try and throw it in that hole, and just left it a bit too far out in front.
Capcho back to punt. 2nd time he has punted. 14-7 Prep. 2 touchdown passes by the sophomore quarterback Reed Burke. Capcho gets it away, and this is a good punt. Fair catch called for by Harold. We will get a look again at that Junior J offense that has been pretty dynamic here in the 1st half. Are you looking for a new career? Explore our programs in business, health, and technology. Get going today on your career path by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting.
It has been a very balanced attack so far for the Junior Jays. They've done a lot of running between the 20s and then a couple of touchdown passes, and they got down close. And have a look here. We got a quarterback change, Gary.
This is a guy that enjoyed playing on Game Time last time out. Does not enjoy that miscommunication where he's knocked down on the handoff. Sam Bonebrake is into the game. Started the year against Westside. He led that game-winning drive down the field. Last-second touchdown. Been bothered by strep throat this week. But after Burke throws 2 touchdown passes to give him a break, Bonebrake is in. The 2 quarterbacks were pretty even during fall camp. Welchin is crushed in the backfield, and he's going to lose about a yard.
Well, no Luke Sims. He's been putting in heavy minutes on the defense in that defensive line. Been run the ball on offense, so he's getting a little series off here, and White Welchin gets in there. Doesn't have quite the lumber that Luke Sims carries.
Nice option to have at quarterback for Tim Yonk. You can put in Bonebrake for a couple of plays. Now on 3rd down, passing down, back in is Reed Burke. Snap back to Burke. Steps up, fires across the middle into traffic, and it's intercepted. Headed back the other way is Spencer Weber. And he's got room to run.
Intercepted by
The first turnover of the night. And that is a pass that the young Reed Burke would love to have back. And throw it across the middle.
You said it right there, Young. That's inexperience. Throws a wobbler over the middle into double coverage. Weber makes him pay. But how about this? Millard North, the offense has been stagnant here in the 2nd quarter, and it's the defense that comes up and puts them in good position with 3:25 to go in the 2nd.
And this defense has given up already 135 points this season. So new life for this offense that has gone back-to-back 3 and out. And Mick runs over a man, and he's inside of the 10. And then the ball is stripped away. Was he down? One of the officials says no. Look at this run by Mick. He runs right over Dunham, and then
that ball was out.
Going down, it squirted free as Joe Carew reached in there. Madrigal jumped on top of it. Now a discussion going on. The defense is still on the field for Prep. Ken Holm just checking. There was no official signal whether he was down. Millard North kept it. Creighton Prep recovered it. Now a discussion ensues after the big run by Noah Mick. And they will say that Mick fumbled the football.
And a personal foul on top of it.
So Mick with the big carry loses the ball. The penalty is at the end of the play. And Millard North, after picking off a pass, they lose it.
Wow. How things can change during the course of one play. Noah Mick comes through, just crushes Drew Dunham, gets into the secondary, has eyes for the end zone, doesn't see Carew coming from the backside. A little loose with the football. Then suddenly, ball's turned right back over.
Carew had him tied up, and then Marcus Vaughn Jones was able to punch it out. Madrigal with the recovery. And Creighton Prep is right back out onto the field at the 4-yard line. Back-to-back turnovers and a 14-7 game. Again, this is a district game. Both these teams are 1-0 in their district. Top 3 teams in this district playing tonight. And then Kearney, as we mentioned, is 3-0 in the district. Get a good look at Tim Young. What a smash mouth style to Creighton Prep. With a little variety, they can throw it or they can run it. Bartling, it's not going to go anywhere after a pickup of about 5.
Jackson Bartling with
Ben
the carry.
King was able to bring him down.
Line, keep driving the line.
The clock ticks now under 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Tim Young wants to do here. His sophomore quarterback just threw a pretty bad interception on the last possession. Kind of got bailed out by the defense, creating a turnover. You would think he would want to play a little conservative on this possession and just try to get into the half with this 7-point lead and no more damage done.
Luke Sims drags a trio of Mustangs for a couple of yards.
Luke Sims with the carry.
Now it'll be 3rd down and short for the Junior Jays.
This is going to be the telling play on what Tim Yonk is thinking. Is he going to let Burke step back and sling it one more time, or are they going to be content with creating the turnover and trying to put Millard North in a long field with under 2 minutes to go?
Coming up at halftime, highlight stats, the sounds of Burke Stadium, and Lisa Cottle has a bad snap. Burke picks it up, he's in his own end zone, and he's going to go down, and that's a safety. And a Young mistake. A bad snap. Second time we've seen it in the quarter. Tracked it down, lost where he was on the field. He was inside of the end zone. And as he realized that and tried to make a U-turn, there was nowhere to go. Wow, what a change of events here in the last 5 to 6 plays on both sides.
Yeah, it wasn't a terrible snap. It was a little bit off to his left, but as a quarterback who plays in the shotgun or the pistol, you've just got to be able to handle those. And you know, the pressure gets a little bit heavier when you're backed up in the shadow of your own goalpost, and perhaps, you know, you take your eyes off the ball for just a second, feeling that rush a little bit more in your face. And boy, a big play right there makes it 14-9, and now Millard North's going to get the ball back with a chance to take the lead going into the half.
So Weber, as Reed Burke threw an interception, then Noah Mick fumbled the ball, and now the safety makes it 14-9. Great opportunity for Millard North, as they will get the ball back in fairly good field position. It's Fred Petito looking at Creighton Prep's alignment. They're going to kick off.
You know, I don't think that a safety counts as a turnover, but it might as well. You give the other team points and then you get the ball back. So in effect, 2 turnovers late in the second quarter for Creighton Prep after they had looked to be figuring it out. A couple of scoring drives, defense had really tightened up.
Stracco's kickoff after the safety. Masoli chased deep, but he's got lots of field turf in front of him. Cuts it across, got a block. Out to the 36, so with 3 timeouts remaining, Tate Elwood will lead Millard North out onto the field. with 1:49 to go in the first half.
Some interesting decisions to be made here down the stretch as we head to halftime, and we know that Fred Petito isn't afraid to dig way deep into that playbook and pull out some tricks. Could be a little bit of a special play coming up.
There's a handoff to Mick for 6. Clock still running. Millard North 1-2. They have started before 0-2 and won a state title. In this very young team, not a lot of people in the offseason talked about Millard North, which is crazy to think about, because if you look at state titles in the last decade, Millard North has 3, Omaha North has 2. Another handoff to Mick. They're going low, going high. This time, as you can see, he was cradling the football. There is a late flag as Mick crosses midfield.
And I think that one of the Prep players might have come in late to that pile, so maybe a personal foul.
Exactly the call. And a break for Millard North.
Yeah, that's a costly one. You're going to see it at the end of this run. Mick goes into the pile, runs into Drew Dunham once again, and then right there, hit in the back by Marcus Vaughn Jones after the whistle, cost them 15 and gives Millard North a really nice chance to score here going into the half.
Still have all 3 timeouts. Their place kicker Thomas Copcho has got a field goal this year. It's from 34 yards away, and they'll snap it from the 34 right now. Toss to Lasolin, and a cutback, and he is dragged down from behind by Bullock. Boy, he kind of hesitated, waited for his block, and then cut it through the seam for a big pickup. And now Millard North is marching on the door to go ahead at the end of the first half.
Well, in the first couple of weeks, it was Spencer Weber running these plays, and tonight it's Lasoli. He's just been the go-to man on the outside run and done a nice job right there, cutting back, getting some extra yards.
Under a minute to go. Mick for a couple of blue-collar yards. Now Millard North will take a timeout. Over on that Millard North sideline, a lot of familiar faces and a lot of familiar foes upcoming for the Mustangs. Benson next week, and then they get Kearney, and they finish at Lincoln Northeast at Fremont, and then their crosstown rival Millard South. So from here on out until the regular season finale, it is in their district.
Yeah, big advantage there, as we spoke about earlier, that Millard North gets Kearney to come to Omaha and play that game at home rather than making the trip out. It's a big difference from playing at home or making that 3-hour bus ride.
Millard North program that has so much history, so many names. We could spend the entire broadcast talking about all the players from Millard North that did well under Fred Petito and then went to the next level and did well, and even have gone on to the NFL. As you'll hear later on tonight, a lot of them have come back to the Millard North Mustang football family.
Well, you said how many state titles they have in the last decade. How about in the last 15 years, Fred Petito's had a team in the state finals more often than he hasn't. That's incredible.
With 8 of the last 14 finals.
8 of the last 14 state finals, Millard North has been there.
So they would hope to be playing November 21st in Lincoln this year. What a turn of events. Interception, fumble, safety, and now Millard North has a chance to go on top. Elwood to throw it downfield into the end zone. It's picked off by Prep, and it'll be returned at the goal line, and a long return by Joe Carew. Elwood never saw Carew waiting at the goal line.
He never saw him. Just an ill-advised throw from the outset. There were 2 defenders in the area. You see the fake toss. They'd run the toss to Lasole earlier. He looks for Mick in the flat and then just throws it before he gets his head turned around. There's a defender over top and underneath. And Elwood makes a critical mistake here late in the half.
So a chance to go ahead ends with a second turnover for Millard North. 35 seconds remaining. I was going to say I didn't expect Tim Young to do much, but he's got 3 wide receivers out there, and Burke's going to put it up. He's chased out of the pocket on the run, throws downfield, and it's wide of the intended target. Well, thought they would just take a knee and let the first half come to an end. I guess not.
I guess not.
This is not the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, Tim Young.
Boy, I don't know. As many turnovers as we had in the last 3 or 4 minutes of this game, I think if it were me, I would be content to just get to the locker room and sort this thing out. But maybe that's why I'm not a football coach. That's why I'm up here with you, Gary.
We've had an interception. We also now have, as you see the signal, a penalty on Prep. We've had an interception, a fumble, a safety, and now another interception on the last 4 possessions.
Bingo card game tonight.
28 seconds to go. 14-9 Prep. It was 7-7 after 1. Burke to put it up again and almost picked off. Across the middle, he wanted Dunham, and it was almost into the waiting arms of the defensive back, Matt Getzman.
And Getzman read that well. I think Burke wanted Mathis all the way, and Getzman, just reading the quarterback's eyes, kind of baited him into the throw and then undercut it. Almost got there.
So 2nd down and long after the penalty. The clock stopped. Millard North still has 3 timeouts. This time they'll keep it on the ground with Sims. And that carry should lead us into halftime. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the sounds of Burke Stadium, highlights, stats, analysis, and Lisa Cuddle will join us from Cox. A lot of exciting things going on. There was a lot of strange things that went on in the last 4 minutes of the first half, and Creighton Prep will go to the locker room up 14-9.
Yeah, we kind of thought it was going to be one of those grind it out, make sure every possession counts type of games, but hasn't turned out to be so. It has been a turnover fest in the 2nd quarter, and somehow Prep has managed to stay on top. Safety, first safety we've seen this year.
Megan Scolio will talk to Tim Yonk in just a moment. Get his thoughts on the first 15 minutes or so of that first half before it turned into a turnover maven. And down to the field we go. Here is Coach Yonk with Megan.
All right, Coach, how big was Joe Cruz's interception there?
Well, it's a huge play. I mean, obviously we had a quick change there, and with you know, the safety, and we were kind of on our heels, so we need somebody to lift us up right there, and it was a heck of a play.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Megan. And Tim Yonk into the locker room up 14-9, trying to go up 2-0 in the district. Lots to come from Burke Stadium after you hear this.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Okay, it's decision time. I want flexibility, more doing, hands-on experience, and working sooner. I gotta make a choice. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
14-9, Creighton Prep leads Millard North at the break as we get a look at the highly acclaimed Millard North dance team.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Charles Drew selected Cox Business because in the healthcare arena, it is imperative that we have transfer of data that is reliable, flexible, and fast. On average, Charles Drew Health Center has about 33,000 phone calls a month. With IP-Centrics, the system was very intuitive, and it allowed us to be reactionary to the needs of our patients. Cox Business Solutions has allowed us to be more efficient and effective in meeting the needs of the greater Omaha community. Cox Business is a great partner.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
14-9 at halftime. Creighton Prep leads Millard North. Yes, the Millard North dance team is highly acclaimed, just like the Omaha Marion dance team that you saw here at Burke Stadium. Now let's go back down to the field where our Megan Scolio has a special guest from Cox. Megan?
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Gary. I'm joined now with Lisa Cottle from Cox, who's here to talk a little bit about the Connect to Compete program. Lisa, what exactly is that?
Connect to Compete is really about closing the digital divide and making people feel more comfortable on the internet. It provides affordable internet service, low-cost hardware, and free digital literacy training to families who can use it.
So it seems like pretty much everyone has the internet these days. Who can benefit from this the most?
You know, it does, but I would surprise you to learn maybe that more than 13% of Americans don't have a connection at all. So this program makes internet access very affordable to those families who otherwise couldn't get internet access.
So why is the internet so important for them?
Oh, the internet is more important than ever before. We usually take it for granted if we've got it. But 70% of teachers assign homework online. More than 90% of people who've searched for a job in the past 2 years did so and said that the internet was their primary search tool. 84% of all applications that were completed were done so online.
All right, now you are also offering the Cox Digital Academy. What exactly is that?
So the Cox Digital Academy is kind of a toolbox of tools. You know, because you can have a connection to the internet, but if you don't know how to use it, it doesn't do you much good. The Cox Digital Academy really provides tools so that students, teachers, parents, anyone really can learn the basic tasks that go along with doing things online and kind of better understand how to make the internet work for them.
So what exactly is involved with that? What can they learn?
Oh, there are tons of things. Basic digital tasks that you might want to use, how to conduct basic searches, but it also gets a little bit more complicated. One of my favorite parts of the Cox Digital Academy is the social media component. And that's a place where parents can learn a little bit about the vast growing landscape of social media today. Social media is changing quicker than we can even believe. And for parents, that can be a little bit scary, right? How do you keep your kids safe online? The Cox Digital Academy has the tools and the resources that parents need to be able to do that.
All right, so if people want to learn about Connect to Compete in the Cox Digital Academy, where do they go?
It's really simple. www.cox.com/C2C.
Perfect, thanks. We'll send it back to you, Gary.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Lisa Cottle from Cox here at the break. 14-9. We've got highlights and stats and first 24 minutes of analysis. Coming up after this, it's game time on YurView.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different. And the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Of caregivers come from, who trains them, who mentors them, who inspires them. At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
Beautiful night for football, district action. Good Class A game, interesting end of the first half, 14-9. Creighton Prep leads Millard North. John?
Yeah, kind of a wild second quarter after a pretty vanilla first, you know. Kind of one possession each way through the first quarter, but we thought we were going to get a lot of ground attack going in there. Now this guy, Jackson Bartling, showing up, filling in for Elijah Burtz. He did work in that first quarter, in the first half in total. Nice little jump cut to get back inside there. But on that first drive, Luke Sims, the big boy, puts a stiff arm in Noah Mick's face, trots it into the end zone. And at that point, we said, oh boy, look out. That run defense for Millard North again. But then all they did was just march it right back down the field. A little lateral pass, good awareness from Lasole to pick that thing up. And that was the real big play of the drive. Everything else, kind of inside run, just hammering away, hammering away. A lot of Noah Mick, a lot of Cade Elwood. Punched it right down to the goal line. And then on the heels of his 7 touchdown performance, Cade Elwood handing off to Noah Mick again. He's going to get a touchdown himself. Pushes it right over the goal line into the end zone. Made it 7-7, and that's when we said that this was going to be offensive efficiency, right? Well, not so efficient. After this throw to Armstead, the sophomore makes a big error. He does get one to Bartling, and Bartling in the open field, dangerous. Made it 14-7 before Millard North would take over. Noah Mick with a couple of nice runs. But right there, Vaughn Jones comes in, punches the ball loose, and that would start our turnover festival. The safety on the heels of that fumble by Noah Mick made it 14-9. And that's how the score would end, but the action wasn't done. Looked like Millard North was going to be back in business when Lasole took him down inside the 20. But a big mistake right at the end of the half from Cade Elwood, gave the ball back and kept the score at 14-9.
We had interception, fumble, safety, interception, then halftime. That's how we ended the second quarter. 72 yards passing for Creighton Prep. You see the total yards, pretty even. 155 to 147. So kind of, when you think of a 14-9 ball game that was quickly paced, the stats kind of reiterate that for you.
Yeah, good balance on the Prep side and kind of what we come to expect from Millard North. Not a lot of passing yards and a lot on the ground.
And we'll see coming up here in the second half, kind of on Millard North side, I think they want to unleash Noah Mick a little bit more. He had the big run all the way down inside of the 5 and then fumbled, as you saw there on the highlight. I think for Creighton Prep, you still continue to mix it up, but Reed Burke has to take better care of the football.
Well, there's no doubt. And there were 2 bad snaps in that first half. One was bad and it was over his head and there was nothing he could do about it. The other one wasn't bad enough that you would think he should miss it, and that's the one that ended up being a safety. But you know, he's got to clean that up, and he's got to make some better throws, because he put one right into the hands of the Millard North defense, and he threw another one late that probably should have been picked that wasn't. So he's got to really clean up those throws. We saw he's got a strong arm, and you know, perhaps he trusts it a little too much as a young man, but just got to clean up on actually both teams. You just got to take better care of the football.
And Millard North definitely wants to hold on to the football. Last week in their win, one of the key numbers was 32 minutes time of possession. They were able to grind out a lot of long drives. So we'll see if they're able to do that here in the start of the second half, where Millard North will get the ball to begin. We are at the break. Creighton Prep 14, Millard North 9. It's game time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
All of our registration systems and the staff systems are based in the cloud, so it's important that our internet connectivity is up all the time. To me, it was clear as soon as we met with Cox Business, they were going to listen to what we needed and design a solution for what was going to be best for us. Having Cox Business as our one provider has allowed us to more easily manage our daily processes. If anything happens or if there's anything I need changed, it's just a phone call or an email away.
As we await the arrival of both teams onto the field to start the second half, if you are interested in an exciting career in media studies, you can check out the opportunities in TV, radio, and sports promotions at Iowa Western just by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Alongside John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Megan Scolio is down on the sidelines. She'll check in with Fred Petito, whose team trails 14-9 at halftime. Join us tomorrow night. We go to Class B in a rivalry game with a lot of meaning on the line in only week 4 of the season. Omaha Skutt and Elkhorn. We'll get to see the freshman running back, Aiden King, for Elkhorn, who had a big week last week against Beatrice. And of course, Skutt is always tough with former Nebraska quarterback Matt Turman as their head coach and all the state titles that they have picked up. Matt Turman against Mark Wortman. That's a pretty good matchup. Should be a wonderful night for football tomorrow night in Class B. 2 top 5 teams.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than those 2 in Class B, does it? I mean, Elkhorn South and their head man might have something to say about who's top of the heap in Class B, but Wortman and Turman, proven track record between those 2. It's going to be a fun one.
Skutt is number 3. They've already fallen to Elkhorn South, and Elkhorn is unbeaten at 3-0. We'll have that game for you tonight or tomorrow night. You get a look at the Millard North sideline. Adjustments at halftime. Kind of a strange first half when it comes to offense. They haven't gotten loose yet. They responded with an opening touchdown and then were forced to punt a couple of times. And let's check in to see what Millard North will do here in the second half with Fred Petito. He's with our Megan Scolio. Megan?
All right, Coach, toward the end of the second quarter, your defense came up big with the interception, safety, and then a big stop. How would you evaluate their effort?
Well, they learned on the fly. They're getting better. It's a good football team we're playing, and hopefully we can take and grow from there.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
That's Fred Petito, longtime head coach of Millard North. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's been a long offseason for Fred. His wife, Angela, passed away after a long illness. Just the outpouring of support from the Millard North community and really the entire Omaha metro community for Fred and his family has been pretty amazing. That just kind of gives you an indication of how important Fred Petito has been in a lot of people's lives. And it's not just the football players that he's coached, all the way back to the basketball players that he coached from his time at Omaha Cathedral when he started this business back in 1980. They have really rallied behind the Petito family to keep him strong. And Bradley, Fred getting to be back where his love is on the football field has helped out a lot. So our thoughts and prayers out to the Petito family. It's Thursday or Friday night in the fall in Nebraska, and it's back to normal. Fred is wearing the headset, calling plays, and he's got his son, who you'll hear from a little bit later, right alongside, as he was in your picture momentarily.
It becomes cliche at some point, but you get the sense around the Millard North program that it truly is like a family. Fred stays in touch with a lot of his guys. He told me a story in this offseason about talking to his former linebacker who's up at North Dakota State, who, oh, by the way, is currently on the Butkus watch list.
Nick DeLuca.
Nick DeLuca, that's right. And he said that, last year when North Dakota State went and beat Iowa, Nick DeLuca got a handwritten letter from Kirk Ferentz that said, "We missed on you. Best of luck in the future."
And there have been a few players under Fred Petito that have gone over and played at Iowa.
That's right.
From Seth Olson to Jeff Tarpinian to Cole Fisher.
But it just, he goes up and he went up to North Dakota State to see Nick DeLuca and visit the campus and talk to one of his former players when he probably had 100 other things to do in Omaha to get ready for football season. But it was important to him to go and see Nick DeLuca in North Dakota and see how he was doing. It's just, it speaks volumes about the kind of character and program and the love that he has for these young men.
Jack Begley, a defensive back last year for Millard North, is now up at North Dakota State. Jack's father, Brian, is the principal at Millard North. As we mentioned, tomorrow we are in Class B for a top 5 showdown. Skutt Catholic and Elkhorn at 7 o'clock right here on channel 1013 or YurView.com. The Iowa Western game of the week. Those two longtime rivals meeting. We talk about Tom Jaworski, the 39-year head coach of Creighton Prep before he retired in 2010 with all of his wins, #1 in the state. Fred Petito is in the top 10. Mark Wortman, who we'll see tomorrow night, the longtime head coach of Elkhorn, is right up there as well.
And Coach Wortman's had Elkhorn right at the top of Class B for, gee, how many years now? I mean, when I was in high school, which is, you know, in the late 90s, Elkhorn was the bully on the block. They were right there every single year. And me and the boys out at Platteview High School got a heavy dose of the Antlers every single year.
And how things have changed. Mark Wortman starts at Elkhorn. Now you have another high school in Elkhorn, Elkhorn South, which next year will go to Class A. And then there is another high school on the way in, that thriving community.
Elkhorn North coming to a West Omaha suburb near you.
What is the official name of those students? The Blue Man Group?
I was going to say something about Smurfs, but I think I'll just keep that to myself.
That is a process that you just don't decide at 5 o'clock before a 7 o'clock kick. You know what? I think I'll go with the full body blue paint.
You know what? All of these young men had to have 8th-hour study hall today because it took them all that time until kickoff to get that done.
Again, they will come home and their parents will be like straight, not to the shower, but to the backyard for the hose.
You can go run through the sprinkler for 2 hours to wash that off.
But anybody that has been around Creighton Prep athletics, their student body supports their fellow students like none other. Check out in the wintertime, Christmas in the cage. Millard North down 14-9. The opening kickoff, Lasole. A good return across the 25 out to the 26-yard line. And so after kind of a discombobulated last 4 or 5 minutes of that first half, we'll see what Millard North tries to establish here. I would imagine we'll see a lot of number 22, Noah Mick, in the backfield. He was not involved 2 weeks ago when we brought you the Millard North Millard West game. He was out with an ankle injury. Last week just primarily on defense, but he has carried it quite a bit in the first half. Just underway, start of the second half from Burke Stadium on the campus of Burke High here in Omaha. And a quick handoff to Noah Mick. They can keep churning out 5 yards per carry. I think everybody that is wearing Mustang blue and gray would appreciate that.
Well, there's no doubt. And you know, loose with the football late in that first half. You had the Mick fumble, the interception by Elwood right down at the goal line. You have to believe that seeing all that, Mustangs are going to try to shorten this game, keep the ball for a lot of it.
Elwood keeps it this time, selling the fake, and he should have enough for a first down. Boy, how many quarterbacks, from the Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch in the mid-90s for Millard North. It's Todd Doxson, who went to Iowa State. On and on and on. Isaac Ockrey, Ethan Morrison, now Kate Elwood, and I know I'm leaving some out.
But there's been a lot of them.
Mike
you
McLaughlin.
mentioned Jeff Tarpinian earlier.
And they all kind of look the same.
They're about the same. Same kind of body type, same general athleticism. One sticks out among them, of course.
On first down at 3 yards on the handoff to Mick.
I'll tell you what, it is getting a little bit chippy down there in the trenches. After Marcus Vaughn Jones was called for that foul where he came in and popped somebody late, there has been just a little bit of growling and pushing and shoving at the end of these plays. It's going to be something to keep an eye on tonight. Both teams are going to have to keep tempers under wraps.
Just underway, second half. And here's Mick, weaving his way, breaking tackles, cutting to the outside, and he will go down after a pickup of 22 yards to match the number on his jersey.
Well, and there you get a little sense of why Fred Petito said this is one of the best pure runners we've ever had, which that is a mouthful considering all the good running backs and quarterbacks that he's coached over the years. But look at that power pulling through, and then a nice little shake to free his hips and pop to the outside, and then delivers another blow at the end of it.
Mick last year, first game of the year, didn't have a carry. Now he's the key ball carrier, and Elwood breaks a couple of tackles, stands up a linebacker before there is some Junior J help. Now starting to establish a presence on the ground to begin the second half for Millard North, kind of like they did on their opening drive
of this game to score a touchdown.
My thoughts exactly. I was just going to say this drive looks a lot like their first possession in the first quarter when they went down and punched one in. It looked a lot like this one, just chugging it out. You get one big gainer, but the rest of them just 5, 6, 7 yarders.
Triple option offense. 3 wide receivers, Elwood under center. On second down. Here's another Mick carry. To make the tackle from his end spot, Captain Tom Searle.
All right, 3rd and short now. It's about a long 2. Maybe we'll call it 3 here, but this is where this Prep defense needs to really stiffen up and then force a decision by Fred Petito early in this second half.
3rd down and a long 2. Elwood keeps it, and he's got a first down. That's such a quick read, and then the burst of speed. As Elwood's slow to get up, he may have fallen on the football for picking up the first down.
Well, it was a great fake inside, and the defense was keying the fullback, Noah Mick. Elwood pulls it, finds a seam over the right side. Good gainer to keep this one alive. Take a look right there. Linebackers get dragged inside. It was John Bullock who got pushed down on the inside and left some space out there.
Fresh set of downs. Oh, miscommunication in the backfield. And the play is John alluded to getting a little chippy as Elwood just pushes Searle off of Masoli. It's a loss on the play.
The 2 running backs run into each other in the backfield, and one going one way, the other trying to go the other, and what we get as a result is a loss of a yard and a loss of a down for Millard North.
Second down and 11. Millard North. They were driving late in the first half as Elwood, another keeper, and another big gain. Sliced the defense, and then he was almost off to the races before coming up was Nathaniel Wells from his defensive back spot to haul down Elwood, but that is a first down.
How about that? And there's a nice block on the inside by Jack Holtz. He doesn't have to do much there. He just gets in the way of the linebacker trying to come down inside, opens up that seam, and Elwood knows exactly what to do with it.
Now Millard North can get a first down. They snap the ball from the 11, and Elwood keeps it again. Blocker in front. Searle throws him down at the 3. Pickup of 8. Cade Elwood last week 7 touchdowns on the ground, tied a Class A record. He has a touchdown here tonight. The other points via a safety. It was 7-7 after 1, 14-9 at the break, and his opening drive of the second half has salted 5.5 minutes off the clock. Mick stopped at the 1. I don't know how. It was about as close as you can get without scoring.
Yeah, it looked like it was well blocked. Not sure. Just a good play on the back end by Drew Dunham to come in there and clean it up.
It was enough for a first down. You should get a look from our crew. Game time crew on a beautiful night at Burke Stadium. First down and goal. Elwood, touchdown.
Well, there's a statement. Come out, take the opening kickoff, run almost 6 minutes off, take up half the quarter, moving the ball steadily down the field, and then you just punch it in from 1 yard out with your quarterback who gets his 9th rushing touchdown in the last 2 games. And how about it? Suddenly, Mustangs on top.
74-yard touchdown drive. A lot of Elwood, a lot of Mick. And for the first time tonight, Millard North has the lead. Kopcho splits the pillars, and it's 16-14. Millard North on top of Creighton Prep. It's game time on YurView.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
When kids have internet access at home, they're more successful in the classroom. If your child is a K-12 student and your family receives government assistance, you could qualify for discounted Cox high-speed internet for only $9.95 a month. To enroll, call 855-222-3252 or visit cox.com/C2C. And while you're there, check out the Cox Digital Academy for educational tools and web tips for the whole family.
Millard North, for the first time tonight, has gone on top, scoring on the opening drive of the second half. Now the Mustangs trying to even up their mark at 2-2. Millard West, midway through the third quarter, leads Bellevue West 14-7. Those are the two Class A games going on tonight. Limited Thursday night schedule across the state of Nebraska, just 4 games total. Full slate tomorrow, including our crew, which will head a little bit west from our current locale. Will be in Elkhorn for Scott and Elkhorn kickoff tomorrow night. Airtime 7 p.m. right here on YurView. 10:13. The Game Time crew can't wait to get there. And 2 really good games this week. Now we'll see if Tim Yonk has plans to respond to what Fred Petito just cooked up to start the second half.
Well, I think he wants to cook up about the same thing. Keep the ball on the ground, pound away at this Millard North defense that's shown propensity to give up yards on the ground and not turn it over, as his team did a couple of times in that second quarter.
Short kickoff, misjudged, loose on the field, and finally corralled. Kevin Cooper came up to play the ball in the air and mishandled it. Fortunately for the Junior Jays, he was able to jump back on top of the loose leather. Well, that would have been a disaster for the Junior Jays to begin the second half, but now they will start at the 15-yard line.
Well, he tried to scoop it and took a peek just as he was trying to scoop it up, and then almost lost it again, and wisely jumps back on it. But boy, for the guys in blue and white, hearts and throats right there.
2 touchdown passes for Reed Burke in the first half, as he is out to start the second half. Both of these teams scored on their initial drives to begin the game. Millard North has scored to take the lead, and a big time hit. Stepping up, Andrew Bednar to stop Bartling in his tracks. One of the rare times that Jackson Bartling has been tackled for a loss, and Bednar with a solo TFL.
Well, it's one of the rare times that anybody's been able to square him up. You got to catch him early, get him in the backfield if you're going to put a good stick on him, and Bednar did it right there.
Armstead in motion at the top of your screen. Burke hands it off to the up man Sims. He crosses the 15 to get a yard plus back, and now it'll be 3rd down and long for Creighton Prep.
I like the idea. You send the man in motion and the quarterback opens that way, trying to get the defense to start flow, and then you catch the fullback coming back on the inside handoff. Just not quite enough blocking at that second level to spring Sims.
Since Creighton Prep scored the touchdown to go up 14-7, they've thrown an interception, a safety, and then it was halftime. Burke on 3rd down, looking downfield. Good time, now steps up. He's on the run, still with it. And now he's got big yardage. He's into the secondary. He's got blockers. He's got the end zone in front of him. The sophomore quarterback is going to go out at the 1-yard line. 83 yards, as he was on fumes and almost scored as he was flushed from the pocket. Oh my.
How about this run? He sees a little bit of a gap, pulls it down, and then finally tucks it about 15 yards downfield. But hey, how about the effort from Ben King? He's going to come from all the way across the field to make this play and push Burke out at the 1.
3rd down and long, and Burke goes for 83. Give me some oxygen. And you can see he's breathing hard. The sophomore quarterback.
Coach, can we call timeout?
You can see he's, I gotta dial back in. Hands it off to Sims, and once again, Luke Sims is into the end zone. And shows you at home that the Junior Jays respond as he flexes for the camera. 2nd time that Sims has found the land of plenty tonight, and Creighton Prep responds to go right back on top.
Well, the 3rd quarter starts a lot the same way the 1st quarter started, with teams just exchanging touchdowns. And now it looks like Prep's going to go for 2.
This would put them up by a touchdown, up 20-16. Here's Sims moving away to the outside, and the 2-point conversion is successful. That was almost a mishandled handoff in the backfield, and Sims was able to escape to the outside, and it's now 22-16 Creighton Prep on the 2-point conversion. So no Elijah Burks tonight. We've seen they don't miss a lot with Jackson Bartling, but one thing you would really miss is the burly fullback Luke Sims.
He is a handful. There's just no doubt about it. You saw it on that touchdown reception in the 1st quarter. Noah Mick is no small guy, but he got a face full of Luke Sims, and there was one thing that was going to happen, and that was 6 points were going on the scoreboard for Prep.
So after the 83-yard run by Reed Burke, Luke Sims puts it in the end zone. So you look at it again. This is on 3rd down and long, flush from the pocket, and then he's coming right into your living room. Everybody, get ready. That's a sophomore quarterback running your way. And as John mentioned, Ben King from way across the field pushed him out, and then the next play, Sims is into the end zone.
I mean, it's a heck of an effort that didn't ultimately matter much, but you never know. That next play could have been a fumble recovered by Millard North. So hats off to Ben King for staying with it and making that play. But now this Millard North offense has got to get back on the field and do what they did in their first possession of this 2nd half.
Stracco with a kickoff. Chasing Lasoli back to the 2. And Lasoli with a seam. Out across the 40. There is a flag down. Appears that this one is coming back.
I didn't see if it was a hold or a block in the back, but you'd assume on a kickoff it's probably one of those 2.
Kent Holm holding on Millard North, and that'll chase the Mustangs back. 4:31 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Prep now back on top, 22-16. As a member of the kickoff coverage unit, slowly walking outfield. That looks like more of a cramp for Joe Carew, who has been heavily involved in the defensive side of the football tonight for the Junior Jays.
That's a big loss because Carew was kind of inserted into the starting lineup to keep Jackson Bartling fresh from having to play corner on defense. So now you kind of wonder, where do the Junior Jays go at that corner spot? Do you throw Bartling out there, or do you continue with your plan of keeping him fresh for the offensive side of the ball? It'll be interesting to see what Tim Yonk and company dial up over there.
Here in Omaha, we did not have a 90-degree day in the month of August. Now into September, back-to-back 90-degree days. Kickoff temperature was 85. It has cooled down. It is an extremely pleasant evening here at Burke Stadium, on the campus of Burke High.
Pleasant if you're not trying to tackle Luke Sims or Noah Mick, which we are not, fortunately.
You get a look at Tim Yonk, Logan View, Gross, and now Creighton Prep. And after Tom Jaworski was the head junior J for 39 years, through a stretch of 3 head coaches in 4 years. Chris Nizzi took over for Tom Jaworski, was highly successful. Chris is now the head football coach at Boys Town. And then Andy Yost took over for Chris Nizzi prior to the state championship game a couple of years ago. Left in the offseason to be the running back coach at Benedictine College. And Tim Yonk was hired from Omaha Gross. The first carry to Noah Mick will amount to a yard or 2.
You get a sense talking to everyone surrounding that hire, Tim Young, athletic director Dan Schinzel, anybody that's involved with that it's a really good fit, because Coach Young really loves being in that private Catholic school setting, and Creighton Prep just a natural home for him, and they want to sort of restore some of that stability and longevity that they've had in the past, and he is totally down with that.
Yeah, it was almost respect the first day he walked in the door. As Elwood keeps it, cuts to the outside. He's got a first down and a late hit. No flag. And Elwood took it on his own in a good read. He saw the ends pinching down, cut it to the outside, and was able to pick up a first down.
And this is what this offense demands of the quarterback. You have to make snap decisions. Right there, he reads the tackle and then takes it to the outside. Saw that nothing was there for the fullback, kept it himself. Good run by Cade Elwood.
Took a shoulder hit from Vaughn Jones while he was on the boundary. Now Elwood keeps it again. Changing direction, and he's pickup of 8. So a lot of Cade Elwood here to begin the second half. Elwood led the drive as a flag is down. That's a late flag. Elwood led the opening drive for Millard North. They marched all the way down the field. He scored from a yard out. But then Creighton Prep responded in about 90 seconds. Buoyed by an 83-yard run by the quarterback, Reed Burke. Luke Sims punched it in from a yard out. 2-point conversion, and that's where we stand. 22-16, Prep leads Millard North in a district game. Ken Holm sorts out this flag. Couple of opinions. Personal foul on Millard North after the play, and that's a big one. And that'll take it back. Again, John has been alluding to some extracurricular stuff, and let's get a look at it here as Elwood goes down, and right there. Big on big. Tom Searle was down on the ground, and a little extra curricular activity from the edgy offensive lineman Nick Morrison of Millard North.
You wouldn't tell by looking at him because of the size disparity, but Nick Morrison is actually the younger brother of Ethan Morrison, former Millard North quarterback.
By the way, they both sport a fantastic beard.
That's true.
Ethan Morrison, I think, was walking around the hallways of Millard North. Now, he's the former Mustang quarterback. He had a beard as a freshman. I mean, he had a grown man's beard his senior year at quarterback.
No doubt about it. I was in awe. I think we asked him about it every time we saw him.
Elwood keeps it. And he goes down. Madrigal with a good arm tackle.
What a play to avoid Bina in the backfield, though, by Elwood. He gave the big defensive lineman a leg and a stiff arm and was by him in a hurry. And Bina got up and just clapped his hands and said, oh, okay.
Hawaiian night in the Creighton Prep student section. A school that has gone 12 years without a football state title. Boy, have they had all kinds of success. Their athletic director, Dan Schinzel, leads the way. They've got some fantastic coaches. Baseball, soccer, track and field. In the spring, they won state titles as Millard North is forced to punt it away. Great punt by Copcho, but it will roll into the end zone. That is a 62-yard punt, but it will come out to the 20-yard line. Creighton Prep should be, with Josh Lutke, favored in basketball coming up in the winter. There is a flag after the punt. As Iowa Western has the career choices that fit your busy schedule. Make plans now to stop by the campus in Council Bluffs. You can also study online or enroll in evening classes now. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We are waiting for Scott Strohmeyer's number 4 ranked football team at Iowa Western. They've got a big game on the road Saturday night at Butler Community College.
Well, that is a big one, and I know we mentioned this last week, but Iowa Western kind of a de facto member of that Jayhawk League. They play a full conference schedule even though they're not a member. And that Jayhawk conference, man, there are D1 players littered throughout that league on just about every team.
This key district game tonight, if you go to 2-0, and that's what the winner of this game would do, the playoffs look very, very promising. Creighton Prep has been to 22 straight playoffs. 38 times they've been in the playoffs. That is number 1 in the state of Nebraska regardless of class. Burke back out under center. The toss to Bartling. Good block by the fullback, and Bartling's now got some room. Cuts back across the field and outruns the defensive back, and he's off to the races. And he's caught from behind. Matt Getzman, who he faked out earlier, comes from behind and brings him down. But not before Bartling goes 45 yards. And there is another flag down and concern on the Creighton Prep sideline.
Well, there was a little bit of jawing going on between the two, and both of these teams have kind of been toeing the line on whether or not they're going to get called for a little bit of late shoving, some talking going back and forth, and I think this is a result of some of that. Bartling got up and had a few things to say after that run.
Offsetting penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct. So they wash each other out, and Bartling's long carry continues, and you see Tim Young, he's not happy. Yeah, you can read lips right there.
If we don't do it, they get the penalty. Great cutback. And then uses the blocker on the edge to just get free. But a nice job again. Look at that. Defensive lineman running all the way down the field, getting involved in the play. We got to call out his name here. Brandon Eastlack, 67, all the way down the field. Can that be right? Brandon Eastlack back on the field?
And missed the first part of the year with a torn ACL. A short gain on first down for Creighton Prep. Up 6, nearing the end of the third quarter. And Eastlack is out there. This is his first extended action. Thought he was still a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, we didn't get the sense that he was going to play.
Got a key situation, down 6 with the brace on that right knee. He is out there. Toss back to Bartling. Gets a block, but he ran into his own blocker. And he tumbles down right back at the line of scrimmage. So now it'll be 3rd down and long, under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Prep 2-1. Their lone losses to the number 1 team in Class A, Omaha Burke. Millard North started out the year with 2 losses. They lost to 2 top 4 teams, Omaha North and Millard West, before beating Papillion La Vista last week. Creighton Prep entering tonight's game ranked number 5. Burke to put it up on 3rd down. His pass is wide of a couple of intended wide receivers. And it'll be 4th down. Clock stops with 30 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think he's looking for Mathis on the crosser there, and it just led him a little bit too far. So after the big run by Bartling, the good effort to stay with the play and drag him down pays off. Prep's going to be forced into a punting situation here.
And a huge stop by Millard North. This is a defense that, again, it's a work in progress. There's a lot of youth out there. They've had some busts tonight, but they haven't had complete breakdowns like the first 3 weeks. Encourage against this dynamic Creighton Prep offense. Stracco with the punt. It'll bounce at the 10. And a good roll for Prep, and they will down it at about the 5-yard line. That's where the drive will start for Millard North. We're talking about earlier the Iowa Western football team, number 4 in the junior college rankings. Lots of great fall sports going on with Iowa Western. And you can follow all of their championship sports teams, including football and volleyball, at GoReavers.com. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. Along with John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Down on the field is Megan Scolio. Coming up when we're done tonight, highlights, stats, interviews with the winning coach and the player of the game. Mick on the handoff. Stiff arms one defender and a good pickup. It's a 15-yard run for Mick.
Yeah, it's a good patient run from the fullback. You normally think of the fullback as get the ball, plow straight ahead, run over a couple of guys and get what you can, but this is a nice patient run. He steps outside, sets up a block, and then bounces it. Really nice run from the fullback.
That's a position that has a long history of names. Most recently, Jake Matthew, who just ran over linemen and linebackers and defensive backs around the Metro. And on the final play of the third quarter, another handoff to Mick. We have set ourselves up for a very intriguing fourth quarter. Done with 3. Prep 22, Millard North 16. Game time on YurView, the Iowa Western game of the week.
At Diventures, we want to create a full-service customer experience. Cox Business, as our technology partner, does exactly that. The team at Cox Business came in, took a look at our business, and recommended top-notch solutions. With IP Centrics, we have a managed, scalable solution to meet all of our customer needs. We get hundreds of phone calls a day, thousands over the course of a week. Because we have Cox Business, we can focus on what we love to do, being on the water and in the water.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
Bouncy ball. Look, it's almost alive.
Advertising used to be simple. Make an ad, put it on TV, get results. Today, with all the new viewing options, it's a lot more complex. At Cox Media, we make the complex simple. With precise targeting, transparency, and automation, we connect advertisers to audiences. Anyone, anywhere, on any screen. Advertising simplified. Contact Cox Media to learn more.
22-16, Prep leads Millard North. Both teams scored just like they did to begin the game on the opening drive of the second half. Now, Millard North with the football to begin the final quarter. Upset brewing, the other Class A game going on. Elwood keeps it and is wrestled down after a pickup of 4, so it's going to be 3rd down and short. Now into the fourth quarter, Millard West leads defending Class A champion Bellevue West 21-7. The T-Birds have won 16 in a row to make it 17. They're going to have to rally against the Wildcats, who we were very impressed with 2 weeks ago when they beat Millard North handily.
Yes, we were. Brody Belt is the real deal, and as we said a couple weeks ago, there's not a lot of buzz about recruiting for Brody Belt, but boy, there should be.
Here's Cade Elwood. Elwood follows his blockers. He's going to have a 1st down right into the waiting arms of Drew Dunham. So when Millard North has needed a play tonight, the senior quarterback has found a way to make it. And they'll move the sticks.
Good fake inside and then cuts it up off the block as Searle gets pushed by him and then just puts his nose in there and keeps grinding.
That's Nick Morrison with the big block.
Elwood now over 100 yards on 18 carries.
And more touchdowns to add to his 7 that he scored last week. And he'll keep it again. Barrels into a defender. He crashed right into Michael Sunclades. This will be second down and about 8. Those familiar helmets with the tape. You see those helmets and you immediately know it's Millard North football.
Millard North.
Equipment manager way back in the day had trouble with the snaps. So he said, boy, we got to fix this. Put tape around the helmet and it has stuck. Whistles.
And going to be a false start. Looks like they're going to get one of those big fellas up front, jumping a little early. I think it was Nick Morrison.
So you know you've made the varsity when you have a helmet in your locker and it's got that familiar white tape around the gray bonnet. That's actual tape. It's not a stripe.
Nope, just athletic tape.
Elwood again keeps it. Oh, and he had a room, but Madrigal, who is being blocked to the field turf, was able to trip him up. If not, Elwood's got an extra 10 to 15 yards downfield. And this is the kind of drive that's going to run that clock, and the next thing you know, Millard North is in the shadow of the goal line, and there's not a lot of time left, and they're about to go ahead.
That's how they do it. They want to get to this position where they can score and take the lead and not leave you with anything left to do anything about it.
Elwood to put it up across the middle, and it is incomplete, and a flag goes down. Madrigal got tied up with the wide receiver Weber as the pass sailed high.
And I think they're going to get Madrigal for the PI here. No, defensive holding.
Holding against Prep, the preliminary call.
So that'll just be the 5-yard variety. Take a look. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's much there, does it, Gary? Maybe it happened before Weber got into our picture. The hold, as he was behind Madrigal, so it's possible that as he went by, Madrigal might have hooked him.
Madrigal an all-stater last year, that kind of a hybrid position. First down for Millard North, and the drive continues, down 6. Flag down, Mick on the carry. Quick whistle. One final note about the helmets during Millard North's annual breast cancer awareness game. That tape will be pink tape.
So here comes the pass. Oh, look at that. Perhaps the ball was touched on the way through. That, I mean, it wouldn't negate a holding penalty. It doesn't matter. The holding has to occur. What, you know, you can't hold whether the ball's tipped or not. Pass interference is negated once the ball's tipped.
Great look from our game time crew. Madrigal says, no. He stops Lasoli here. Came up, stepped into the box, and now another flag after the whistle. And Madrigal, who was pretty excited about that tackle, took it a step further, and that's going to cost Creighton Prep.
You just got to contain yourself. There's being excited and celebrating with your team, and then there's, you know, talking a whole bunch of junk to the other guy. Watch, Madrigal gets up and gets right in the face of Lasol, and you know, gives him a slight bump on the shoulder, but it doesn't take much. They're going to call that taunting every time.
So that's 15.
You know, this isn't the NFL. You don't get leeway with those sort of things. You have to control yourself.
Some key penalties have negated some good defensive stops for Prep. And this is a long walk-off. all the way down to the 37-yard line. Look at the senior defensive back, Morgan Madrigal. 7-7 after the first quarter. It was 14-9. Prep at halftime. Millard North scored on their opening drive to take a 16-14 lead. And then Prep with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and that's where we stand from Burke Stadium. Prep plays all their home games here. They will play one game on their on-campus football field for homecoming against Benson next month. There's Mick with the handoff. Prep's on-campus field is all field turf. It's a nice setting, just does not have a lot of room for fans.
They play the blue-white scrimmage there, which I was able to attend late in the summer. And yeah, you're right. It's a nice facility. They have full concession stand, press box, all the goods, but there's only stands on one side of the stadium.
Of course, Millard North shares Buell Stadium with Millard South and Millard West. Another handoff right up the middle. The clock continues to tick as Noah Mick is brought down. Talk about the planned improvements with a fundraising campaign for Burke High to improve this facility that opened in '67 and starting to show its age. There's also the plan in the Millard district to upgrade Buell Stadium. And another whistle. This will be against Millard North.
How about the third false start penalty on this drive on the Mustangs? That is uncharacteristic of a Fred Petito coach team. They usually do not hurt themselves like that, and that's got to be driving him nuts over there on that sideline.
When this drive began, Fred Petito was in his 34th year as the head coach. He's now closing in on his 35th year. Strange to see Fred not wearing a tank top. You see him during the summer.
That's right.
And then during training camp, he's in that familiar tank top. And he's got suns out, guns out. There'll be a lot of us that are jealous of the biceps of Fred Petito. You find him early on in the morning walking around the Millard North track. Handoff to Mick, slowed up by Sims. Mick couldn't get much past that, couple of yards.
How about a draw play from the Millard North offense? That's a new wrinkle that we haven't seen.
What is going on with the Mustangs? They used to just run one or two plays and be so successful. So now a key third down. Third down and long. Elwood not afraid to put it up. He'll keep it. He'll turn it up. He'll sneak through traffic. And he has got a first down. Oh, my.
That is such a nifty run by Cade Elwood. He finds the sneakiest cutback lane that I can't believe was even there. He somehow found it and got the first down. That is crafty from Cade Elwood. Take a look here. Fakes the give, comes around the end. Look at this cutback. Why is that seam there and how did he find it? That's unbelievable.
Noah Noel had a really good block in the backfield. Now the drive continues. Elwood keeps it. Good read because Mick would have been stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. Instead, Elwood gets 5. See, 69 in your picture. Nick Morrison, that big offensive line. Jack Holtz up there. Gerard Richards. Ryan Salisbury. The big ones up front from Millard North are starting to lean on the front 4 of Creighton Prep, and the drive continues now all the way down to the 17-yard line. The only drive so far in the fourth quarter, and here is Mick holding on to the football. He fumbled late in the first half. Squeezes the football and gets 6 yards.
Boy, if Millard North goes ahead and punches this into the end zone, there's only going to be about 4 minutes left on the clock for Prep, which is what we said at the outset, Gary. It was a roundabout way of getting there. Offensive efficiency. You're just not going to get too many opportunities. You're going to have to make them count. Those turnovers late in the second quarter for Creighton Prep, they're coming back to haunt them right now.
Another offensive lineman up front for Millard North, Dylan Dittman, with a big block on that carry by Mick. There's another carry by Mick for 2 yards. This drive, which is now eaten up almost 7 minutes to start the 4th quarter.
Yeah, this drive started with 19 seconds left on the clock in the 3rd quarter.
Millard North can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. 2nd down and 8 from the 10. Elwood keeps it. Dances through the traffic on the 2nd level and falls to about the 1-yard line. Oh my.
That vision is something else. I mean, we saw it earlier when he picked up the first down. He made a cut and ran at about a 60-yard angle from the line of scrimmage, and he does it right here again. Just finds a seam somewhere in there, reads the block, and picks up 6 or 7 yards.
Well, he's got such a sense of where he is on the field, and also he takes hits pretty well. He knows when contact is coming. Now he has led his team all the way down the field. 1st and goal from the 1 to tie the game. Elwood straight ahead. The flag is down. Elwood scored. And we will do this again. Another false start on Millard North.
4th one this possession, and that one hurts. They've overcome the other 3, but this one's going to back them up. And the bad news is that it was goal to go.
At halftime, there were 5 combined penalties. We've had 10 here in the 2nd half. We had a couple of 15-yard penalties mixed in there as well. So the drive that started with 19 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter now has eaten up 8 minutes of the 4th quarter. The 5-yard penalty pushes the ball back to the 6. 1st down and goal. Elwood keeps it, and Searle says you're not getting away this time.
There you go. Tom Searle, who's been victimized on a couple of those Cade Elwood cutbacks, comes off his block. You're going to see it right here. The fake, and Searle shoots the gap, grabs the quarterback's shoulder pad, and slings him down.
That's their first timeout taken by Creighton Prep. The drive continues with 3:48 to go in the game. Millard North trying to tie it up.
Has a 28-14.
Game time on YurView. The Iowa Western game of the week is going to come down to the final gun.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
The 16th play of the drive is upcoming. Quick note, Millard West leads Bellevue West 28-14, 9 minutes to go in that game. Here, Millard North is trying to tie it with a touchdown. They have eaten up the entire clock so far in the 4th quarter. Handoff to Mick. Bowls his way to the 5. Held up by Drew Dunham. Michael Sunclade's in there as well.
Now it gets really interesting. 3rd and goal to go from the 5. You got 2 plays now to punch it in, as we're going to see Noah Mick with a tough run here. Sunclades gets blown out of there, but stays with it and comes back to finish it off. But as I was saying, 2 plays to get it in the end zone now. Touchdown, extra point makes it 23-22. Field goal does you no good for the most part, unless you're going to go field goal, onside kick, field goal to tie it. I don't think that's Fred Petito's way. You would imagine if they don't score here, they're going to go on 4th down now, and then it's Katie bar the door. 4th down, Fred Petito around the goal line. You never know what could happen.
We saw it a couple of years ago in the state semifinal against Bellevue West. Millard North took their first time out. 89.7 The River is your home to awesome alternative rock music. Check us out on the stream at 897theriver.com or search the App Store for 897 The River. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. What we are waiting for is now the 17th play of the drive. Creighton Prep has not touched the football here in the 4th quarter. Creighton Prep has only had the football twice in the 2nd half. And another timeout taken.
Curious.
Well, and I'm going to go back. They have changed. Fred Petito and Tim Yonk on that previous timeout both wanted it at the same time. This is a key point. They assessed it to Creighton Prep, so they have 1 timeout remaining. So Millard North, this is their first timeout. 3rd down and goal to go from the 5-yard line. Down 22-16. 16-play drive so far. It has taken off of the clock 8 minutes and 25 seconds, and then you throw in the 19 that was remaining in the 3rd quarter. And that is 8 minutes and 44 seconds that they've had the ball.
That's unreal.
Trying to tie the game.
I just have to laugh about it because they've had penalties that pushed them back, and then they pick up a 1st down and they go back a little bit on a penalty, and then down here they get right down to the goal line. Oh, false start. We're going to go back 5 yards. You get to run a few more plays. Congratulations, Millard North. You've wasted the entire 4th quarter.
Nobody's hanging out at the concession stand. They're all watching this drive. 3rd down and goal. 4-down territory. Touchdown ties it. PAT puts you ahead. A win makes you 2-0 in the district. Handoff Mick. He's to about the 1-yard line, and now with his 4th down and goal from the 1.
This is just a heck of an effort as he runs into the wall and just keeps the legs churning and gets down inside the 2. They're going to spot the ball between the 1 and the 2.
And another timeout taken by Millard North.
Well, it's not necessarily do or die time. If they don't score and the defense can hold, they could have a chance at another possession. There wouldn't be a lot of time left, but they would have a chance to possess the ball again.
All Game Time high school football games are streamed live each week at YurView.com. Also check back throughout the week for game highlights and additional coverage, including the new weekly high school football recruiting podcast, Over the Middle, with host Jeremy Crabtree, who is one of the most respected recruiting analysts in the entire business. And we happen to have him right at YurView.com. Check out the recruiting podcast, Over the Middle, with host Jeremy Crabtree. Join us tomorrow night, Scott and Elkhorn. And also, throughout the game, you can interact with John and myself on Twitter at YurViewOM. Tell us what you like, questions you might have. Give us a follow. Retweet the highlights and keep checking back. We have great content leading up to our game of the week.
This might be hard to remember, but this Millard North drive started off the punt by Prep that was down at their own 6.
On the 18th play, the toss to Weber and a fumble at the goal line. It will result in no points.
Oh, wow. What a defensive stand inside the 5, and how huge does that false start penalty on 1st and goal loom now? They weathered the storm of penalties through that whole drive and then got a false start. right down at the goal line. And Weber is held out, trying to stretch the ball over the goal line. It didn't matter. He had to do whatever he could. He was being tackled, so the fumble is of no real consequence. And now this Millard North defense must come up with a huge stop to give that offense one more chance.
And offside on Millard North. They're going to snap the ball from the 1-yard line. And another key penalty on Millard North.
Well, that's just a great job of play calling from the sidelines. You know that this Millard North defense was anxious to get out there to try and get a stop, get a safety, get the ball back. So you go with the hard count to draw them off and give your offense a little breathing room at the goal line.
Hand off to Sims. Tackled immediately by LaPierre. Both teams have a timeout remaining. 2:50 now to go. Prep clinging to a touchdown lead.
A lot of these Millard North defenders have been on the sidelines for quite a while. They should be fresh.
Another stop by Millard North, and now it's going to be 3rd down and short.
Play of the football game right here, probably. We saw what happened the last time Creighton Prep was backed up in their own end. And Reed Burke was getting set to throw it. Didn't quite focus on the snap. That was just a little bit off to his left. Had to scramble and got tackled in the end zone for that safety.
So 3rd down and 5. Burke will be in the pistol. And he'll toss it to Sims. Can he get to the outside? He cuts up. He's got the 1st down and much more. And that might about do it with only 1 timeout remaining for Millard North. Luke Sims on 3rd down gets the much coveted 1st down.
Just gets that big body rolling, but great blocking on the outside by that wide receiver to give him the lane. And Luke Sims might have just iced it.
Clock running, Millard North. Just 1 timeout remaining. And now the clock stops as they reset the crew. Now they wind it up. Burke straight ahead. And Millard North is going to elect to let the clock just run, and Prep is going to go to 2-0 in the district. Reed Burke, a key 83-yard run as Tim Yonk is trying to tell his sophomore quarterback, when you snap the ball, don't be so anxious to snap the ball here.
We're not in a hurry.
Burke had a 3rd down and long, flushed out of the pocket, 83-yard run that set up the eventual go-ahead touchdown run by Luke Sims. Millard North is going to fall to 1-3, 1-1 in the district. Hand off to Sims, diving across the 20 for a pickup of 3.
I'm unsure why they're handing the ball off for snapping it to the pistol at this point. That just seems like a recipe for disaster.
And now Millard North will take a timeout. 3rd down is upcoming. So,
well, I mean, the timeout at this point is fairly inconsequential. All that they would have to do, Creighton Prep that is execute the center quarterback exchange and take a knee. It brings up 4th down, and the Mustangs have no way to stop the clock at that point. So I guess you're just banking on perhaps the sophomore makes another mistake in the center quarterback exchange. stranger things have happened, miracle at the Meadowlands, etc. But yeah, and my other question was about the previous play. Why is Reed Burke lining up in the pistol with 25 seconds to go?
Now it looks like Prep will just go with the victory formation and have Burke take a knee and the clock run out. They've added 5 seconds to the clock, so it's at 23 seconds. And he will take a knee, and Millard North can't stop it. And Creighton Prep, they withstand an 18-play drive, and they stop Weber on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. And Tim Yonk is off to a 3-1 start with a 22-16 district victory. We've got the victorious head coach, our player of the game, highlights, stats, and more. Final score, Creighton Prep 22, Millard North 16. Game time on YurView.
Where will the next generation of caregivers come from? Who trains them? Who mentors them? Who inspires them? At CHI Health, we believe in the power of education. As partners with Creighton University, we are advancing a new era of academic health care. We're researching and collaborating to bring more minds to every case, every patient, every day. We're giving the future of care a new home. CHI Health. Imagine that.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
At Woodhouse Auto Family, the buying experience is different, and the over 27,000 customers who bought from us last year know why. Our knowledgeable sales staff know the brands, the products, and take time to get to know you and guide you to your perfect vehicle. And that experience continues with any of our 16 service locations, and with trained advisors and technicians to help you maintain your vehicle. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse.
You're watching this week's Game Time on YurView, the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Creighton Prep stands up late in the 4th quarter with a key stop on the goal line, and they win this key district game, 22-16. Down on the field is our Megan Scolio with some very happy junior Jays. Megan?
All right, Coach, that was quite the 4th quarter there. We were just talking. They had an 18-play drive. How did you keep your team in the game?
Well, we made a few adjustments on defense there as they moved the ball down. You know, but it is a matter of kids making plays and hanging tough. Our team has been so resilient. I mean, even from the first game of the year when we were at Westside and we came back to win that game. I mean, we led from the whole way except for a little bit in that 3rd quarter tonight. But our kids are so resilient. They never quit. They kept battling, and we knew it was going to be a 4-quarter football game. And I couldn't be prouder of a group.
They have 4th and 1. Drew gets the big stop. What'd you think of that?
Well, that's what captains do, and that's what guys that are leaders on your football team do, is they step up in a critical time, and Drew did that down on the goal line.
All right, thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Drew, let's get you in here. All right, that was an 18-play drive for them. You, as defense, were on the field for quite a while. How was that going for you?
It was tough. We were huffing and puffing, but we knew that the offense was too. We knew that it was going to be a bloodbath, and we just had to keep grinding, and we ended up on top.
4th and 1, you get that big stop. How did that feel?
It felt amazing, but our whole team did it. I mean, that was our defense right there. If our line didn't hold that line, I wouldn't have made that play at all. So it's all on them.
All right, thanks. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Young. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Megan. 22-16, Creighton Prep holds on. Again, an 18-play drive that nearly ate up the entire clock in the 4th quarter. Ends at the goal line. And it ends with a Creighton Prep victory as we take a look at the highlights from the second half.
Well, there weren't a lot of possessions for either team, just 3 each way in the second half. And we started off that third quarter the way we started off the first, with each team moving it down the field. Millard North starting with the ball, and another Cade Elwood 1-yard sneak gave the Mustangs a little bit of life right there. But Prep would come right back the other way, and this was the key play. Reed Burke with good awareness to find a seam on the scramble, and he would scramble 83 yards down to the 1-yard line. Great play by Ben King to come over and stay with the play to tackle him. Ultimately, though, it would not matter, as the big fella, Luke Sims, would get his second touchdown of the night. He would add the 2-point conversion and make it 22-16. Then Millard North, that was the big drive, and there's the big play. A big stick right at the goal line after the 18-play drive that took up nearly the entire fourth quarter. Huge fourth down stand for that Prep defense.
And now Creighton Prep is 3-1. Their lone loss is to Omaha Burke, as Millard North falls to 1-3. Quick update: Millard West late leads Bellevue West 28-26. As you get a look at the final stats tonight, Millard North with 338 yards rushing. Cade Elwood, another big night. The senior quarterback is right now doing a lot for the Mustangs, as Creighton Prep was able to run the football as well without their leading rusher, Elijah Burt, who will be back next week for Papillion La Vista. Penalties, though, were pretty key in this game. They came at crucial times.
Yeah, that final possession, 4 penalties, all of them false starts for Millard North. And the big one right down at the goal line when it looked like Cade Elwood had another sneak-in touchdown, but a false start penalty backed them up 5, and they were unable to punch it in there on 4 straight plays, and that's a tough loss. And Petito and Bunch are going to be kind of scratching their heads over this one and say, how did we not get that in?
Tim Yonk, by the way, is, trying to keep cardiologists in business. Creighton Prep has been on Game Time twice this year, and they have come down to the final possession.
Cardiac Prep.
Again, the final score tonight, Creighton Prep holds off Millard North 22-16. We will see you tomorrow night for Scott and Elkhorn. We're looking forward to another showdown, this time in Class B. For the entire crew, for John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. Again, the final score, Creighton Prep 22, Millard North 16. It's Game Time on YurView in the Iowa Western Game of the Week. Good night, everybody.
Cleveland's never going to lose again.
No, I thought this would be the night because they sat some guys. Jeez. Lindor doubled in the 9th to tie it. Let's see all the Royals fans that are melting down. That bullpen's out of gas for Kansas City.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Nope, and then guys are going to scatter.
They had that good run over the summer where it looked like they were getting it back together. And then
22 straight wins. Wow.